Hello and welcome to the Geeks Review. I'm Royce.
I'm Joshua.
I'm Matt.
Doctor Who is back after almost a year. It sees the return of Jodie Whittaker as the 13th Doctor, Mandip Gill as the new companion Yaz, and the introduction of John Bishop as the new companion Dan. Part 1 of this 6-part series, subtitled Flux, is currently available to watch on iView, and we're going to be talking about episode 1 today.
I'm cautious because I watched it twice and it held my attention pretty well, which is pretty good for a Chibnall era story.
Oh, feeling the burns already.
I'm not like the last two seasons have not been amazing, so the bar was pretty low. But you know, and I acknowledge that it was all set up. Like it's the first episode of a 6-part serial, so they're starting all the storylines in this episode, and it was exciting because it's like, oh, what's that? But yeah, it all depends on how the next 5 episodes go.
It definitely, well, Matt said, it helped me as well. Granted, I was more looking at the monsters and how wonderful they were looking this time around.
Yeah, the skull-faced character called Swarm is what his name is.
And his sister,
Yeah,
who never got named in this episode.
Azure is what the promotional material was called her.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's very fitting considering the colour and all that. But yeah, he especially is just, he's sort of like a purple skull with crystals sticking out of him and gold teeth. He's chomping down on those gold leaves. And
he's apparently someone who knew the Doctor probably before we've known the Doctor.
What's this? A mysterious character from the Doctor's past that even the Doctor doesn't know? Scandal.
yeah, now you said that, I'm sort of like, oh no, it's the Timeless Child, isn't it?
Well, the Timeless Child thing, I've been holding off judgment completely on it. Like I don't love it at the moment, but I've been holding off calling it bad until we see what they do with the story.
Yeah.
And the story's starting to pick up.
Yes.
It's because there's finally an episode. It's been 18 months since we first found out about Timeless Children, and then we had an unrelated and disappointing Dalek episode in the middle. But yeah, it's good to see that, you know, right from the first episode, the Doctor is investigating this. So it's not going to be like last season where we got, well, hope not. It's not going to be like last season where, you know, we get a suggestion of the main story and then there'd be 2 episodes that completely ignored it. And then another hint at it and then another 2 episodes ignoring it. Hopefully the fact that this is a serial and they're doing all their stories kind of at once, that means that everything, you know, will be moving forward nicely.
It felt very full. It
Yes.
sort of felt like it should have been maybe 10 minutes longer to kind of have more establishing for some of the stories. Like, you've gone and got that story 200 years ago in Liverpool, which doesn't seem to connect to anything. And at the end, when we cut back to it...
You forgot that it was at the start.
Yeah, it's kind of, oh yeah, what's your deal? I mean, I guess we'll find out next
digging
week.
a tunnel with no rhyme or reason. I'm just digging a tunnel. That's all I want to do. I'm creating living wages. Damn it, Mr. Barnaby.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of felt like there needed to be more breathing room. Like, we're introduced to this character of Claire, played by Annabelle Sholey, who, again, seemingly knows the Doctor. And that's kind of what I thought the deal with Swarm was going to be. That, you know, he's from the Doctor's future, but she's from his past. You know, it's the kind of the River Song situation, which is sort of what Claire seems to be. And she's taken by a weeping angel, which, you know, was really just sort of, oh, we meet her and then boom, there's a weeping angel and we're suddenly thrown into this tense scene with this character we don't know yet. And I think if there'd been a little more set up, like we'd maybe seen her just slowly walking home and got a few shots and like she's being watched and then suddenly the thing appears and then you just give it all a bit more breathing room.
Maybe. It does depend on how the story goes because she has met the Doctor in the Doctor's future because she knows Yaz. So this woman has met the Doctor in her future. But it's the past for her. But then she gets sent to the past by a weeping angel. Well, we didn't actually see where she ended up. That's just what we know the weeping angels do.
And hear me out. The weeping angel actually sent her into the future, which is why she's taking the long way home. Because it could be in the future she meets the Doc, and she's slowly trying to get back home.
But the one that got touched by a weeping angel had already met the Doctor.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's definitely dripping in double meaning, what she's saying. Yeah.
That's definitely interesting. The Doctor and Yaz's relationship, it's definitely better than it was before.
Yeah,
There
I mean,
were too many people in the TARDIS.
they're leaping into beds already, you know.
No, we don't do Thasman fanfic here.
No. I saw that, and a few other people I saw that and just went like, queer baiting. I see.
It's not, though.
No, but it's very sort of like they get thrown into the TARDIS and they land on a mattress, you know, as a trampoline. You know?
Yeah, it's a trampoline.
Yeah.
It was the end of an action.
Soften their fall. Yeah, but it's like, that's going to get them shipping, isn't it? No issue with that.
There were no
for me at least.
There were no longing glances or anything, and no moments of like. There was none of that.
We do have a moment where Yaz introduces herself, and it's very I am the Doctor. Like I'm Yasmin Carr, and I'm Sheffield Police, you know, and a bit of a dramatic sweep and music swell, and
when she's saving Dan.
Yeah. Compared to the Doctor, who doesn't really get like a I'm the Doctor moment. Exactly. Not that you need one, but
no, Yaz,
it was given to Yaz.
Yaz definitely had more time to breathe, and we finally saw her using her police skills for a second.
Yes.
When she walked into Dan's house and was like,
Oh wait, was she a police officer?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no. I knew that. It's just the last couple of
seasons. Oh,
seasons.
you genuinely forgot.
Yeah, because the previous few seasons with Yaz have kind of just swept her PC work under the rug.
Yeah.
There were too many people in the TARDIS.
Yeah.
We didn't get to know the Doctor. We didn't get to know any of the... Except Graham.
It feels now like there's this sort of quirky world it lives in. Like, I mean, Dan is completely nonplussed by a giant dog breaking down his door. I mean, he's not, like, freaking out. Like, you could kind of imagine his reaction to it's, you know, Halloween context and all that. But the dude just broke his door down and he's just like, you're right there.
My original thought was that this dude lives in Liverpool. He's probably seen it all, you know, footy season and all that.
Yeah, well, he's poor. He lives pretty rough.
Yeah.
From the looks of it.
But he's also very generous as well.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
does
Good
have a
visual
hand.
storytelling.
Yeah.
In that regard.
Yeah, and like the thing about Dan so far is I like him because, you know, all we've really got to know about him is he's nice and poor.
And he knows Liverpoolian history.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, maybe he'll come in handy for the tunnel episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Looks like the next one's sort of...
The Sontaran one.
Yeah. Historical.
Oh, they look so good.
They look like the Time Warrior from John
Yeah.
Pertwee's era.
They look like
the
classic
creepy
Sontarans.
baked potato sticking their tongue out to try and
Yeah.
keep their lips moist.
Yeah, they're all beaten up and gross and stuff. And they actually look kind of threatening too.
Yes, rather than, it's a baked potato and a muscle suit.
I don't know why the 2008 ones were blue. I just don't get it.
Yeah.
And it also looks like with the next, what we believe may be the next episode is it may be Zulu era.
I thought it was like Wellington, like, you know, the Napoleonic Wars kind of
I
thing.
was looking at the uniforms, they're almost sort of in between the two. Just particularly with the formations of how they were running. 201
years ago, what was then?
201 years ago, that was Zulu.
Right.
That was Queen Elizabeth. Sorry, not Queen Elizabeth, Queen Victoria. So England would have been going through its mass colonisation period towards the end with the scramble for Africa.
Oh.
That could be interesting. I mean, we could be proven wrong this
We could be
Monday.
very much proven wrong. But the uniforms at that point were still transitioning out of like the red coats and putting on the pith helmets.
Right.
We have seen images of a Sontaran on a horse.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
They've done a lot of filming in Africa for previous seasons of Jodie's Doctor Who.
they filmed the Australian scenes in South Africa.
Yeah.
It's all good over here, Chumbas.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Australian accents in that made me cringe.
It's very cringe.
But no, and Dan Starkey, who played Strax, he was the one on the hologram.
Yes, he was the psychic commander.
Yeah, and
You look hideous.
yeah, you look really disgusting. I recognized his voice. I didn't recognize his face.
No.
Must be the new makeup.
Yeah, it definitely is.
I was looking for his teeth because he's got the gap teeth. Yeah,
the Essex gap. But no, I'm glad to see some consistency there. You know, like the Sontarans being clones and everything. But like, he's not Strax.
No.
I got very sick of Strax.
Yeah,
he is funny, but yeah. Anyway,
Enough of it.
yeah.
Yeah, the Sontarans back then sort of seemed like an attempt, at least with the face, to sort of make them more realistic. You know, because they do look a bit more feasible. I think Strax's face started to like try and escape his head towards the end. But now he sort of feels a bit more like a living thing. And
A baked potato in a tin suit.
yeah.
Do you guys think Swarm is, and how do you think he knows the Doctor?
I think it's got something to do with the past. Probably whatever the division was originally made for.
Because the division was keeping him trapped.
Yes.
There's a lot of scenes in this as well where we just come in at the opportune moment. Like, I mean, I was talking about Claire earlier. We see her just as she gets taken. We meet the guy from Game of Thrones, whose name I don't remember, but he looks like Dave Lister.
Yeah.
The character's name is Vinda.
Vinda, yeah.
There it is.
Yeah. I'm kind of I'm imagining if that was done back in Russell T Davies' era, you might have seen like, you know, it's day 365, I've been here for a year. And then it's like a montage of like going forward in years as he's doing these daily updates. It's day 626, you know. It's day 4,000, you know.
If they were doing a full episode about him, it probably would happen. But
yeah.
I wonder if they originally had planned for a 10-episode series and then, you know,
Yeah.
Lost 4.
the pandemic kind of... Because they changed their filming style for the pandemic. So
The scenes are less busy.
So I wonder
Minus the 1800s.
I wonder if they're trying to pack, you know, 10 episodes worth of stories into 6 episodes, which is why they're all running concurrently.
Yeah.
That could be it, yeah. It also, there's the scene where we meet the lady who's revealed to be Swarm's sister.
And she smashes the floating thing.
It reminded me of a scene from Torchwood, the Doctor Who spin-off.
Yes.
The episode Sleeper, where there's these alien sleeper agents who've been, you know, living on Earth for so many years, and they're so, like, ingrained, they don't even know they're alien. And there was a scene where all the sleeper agents get activated, and there was this guy, I thought it was Bradley Walsh for so long, but it's not. But he's there, he's like a businessman, he's talking to his wife, and he gets activated. And he just, you know, switches off and kills her and goes off to do evil. But it just reminded me a lot of that, where it's like you get a glimpse, like, you know, just that second you don't, you know, before things go to hell. And I said it gives credence to the idea that there could have been more episodes planned, but they've just sort of crammed it all in and abridged it to be...
Well, it feels also very relevant to the fugitive Doctor from season 12, who we still don't know who she is. Joe Martin's character.
Yeah. The fugitive Doctor, is that what they're calling her now?
People call her the Ruth Doctor or the fugitive Doctor.
Yeah, I think fugitive is better in the long run.
Yeah, because, you know, we don't know if she is from before the Doctor's, you know, we don't know if she's a timeless Doctor or what. I don't know. I hope not, because she's got a police box TARDIS.
Yeah.
And that kind of... But, you know, we'll see. I'm holding judgment till the story's finished.
I'm going to come clean. My original hopes for that was that she was the Rani.
The Rani.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were promised that so many years ago, and Russell never delivered.
Well, I mean, he's coming back, so you never know.
For the 60th.
And beyond.
I'm gonna reserve my judgment. Because, yeah, I get a little bit too passionate sometimes with these shows, and...
I wonder if Swarm could be Tecteun.
Oh, yes, this was the figure from the Doctor's... The Timeless Child's history, who discovered the Timeless Child and engineered the regeneration ability for the benefit of the Time Lords.
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because Swarm seems to have this ability... I mean, this is a very loose theory at the moment, but I'm trying to think, I want everything to tie into the Timeless Child to make it a worthwhile revelation.
Yeah.
To have it make sense.
Yeah, but like, Swarm has this ability to like control the flux somehow. Is psychic. Time Lords are psychic. And he kind of turns people into energy to renew himself.
He looks like the Master and the Deadly Assassin.
That's what people thought. People wondered if it was Sacha Dhawan under the makeup, but it's not. It's an actor who's...
It's another guy.
Yeah. He's been in other things, like you might know him from...
He sounds very familiar.
But yeah, I wonder if maybe Tecteun carried on the regeneration research too far and became horrible.
Yeah.
When he kills those two division agents, and because he starts off being like completely like crystalline and having a deep voice and like spiky teeth, and then like less than a minute later he's
that's a lot of makeup.
Yeah, it is a lot of makeup. But
design,
when he absorbs the energy and becomes himself, he says renewed at last.
Ooh.
And
which harkens back to
Hartnell to Troughton, the first ever regeneration. It was actually called a renewal.
Yeah, wow. That's it's funny as well, because I was going to say the name Swarm seems a bit strange, but then you go and mention the flux and how he can seemingly control it. It kind of seems almost like a swarm of some kind of energy being, so potentially that's all
more
tied together.
Original idea with a name like Swarm. I thought he might have been like a Legion-esque character.
Yeah.
Like multiple entities in one.
But there's only one truly dominant personality.
Oh,
because the flux is called the flux, not the swarm.
Yeah.
But he's obviously connected, because when he like talked to the Doctor psychically, that's when he was able to, like, the flux, it changed direction, started heading towards the Doctor in the TARDIS, which is
bleeding black goo
and spewing doors everywhere. So interesting. I love it when they play with the TARDIS.
Yeah, I mean, the TARDIS design has changed quite a lot just in these last few years. I mean, the interior, like, they've extended it and sort of made it bigger and like more colourful, less colourful. It does feel like it's a much bigger space now than what it was last season. And they've gone and chucked these doors everywhere. Yeah, it's always interesting when you see the dimensions of the TARDIS just being played with, and it kind of seems like it's losing its mind in a sense.
They're turning the cloister bell.
Yeah, well, have we heard that in the new series?
Not for a while. No.
For a while, no.
Not since Smith's era, I
and
don't
then
think.
The Heart of the TARDIS reveal.
Yeah, that's a 2005 thing.
Yeah.
Oh.
They're really pulling out all the stops.
It's... I'm of two minds, because the first series of Chibnall's era, Jodie's era, was a bit,
Flat.
Yeah. And then it's like, panic, bring back the Jadoon, bring back the Daleks, bring back all this. And I sort of hope it's kind of what he wanted to do, and not just him, we'll give them what they want. We'll throw in some Russell T Davies era things, we'll throw in.
I mean, it is a shame, and it's something that Moffat also struggled with, but Russell T Davies made a really familiar, lived-in universe. We knew the Jadoon were the police, we knew the Daleks, people knew about the Daleks, there were time agents and stuff, and Ood just appearing, serving people just around us, like, he created this universe that was very familiar and people understood.
It felt organic.
It did, it really did.
Like, you could be part of it.
Yeah. In the Davros episode, Stolen Earth and Journey's End, back with David Tennant's era, there's the bit where he goes to the Shadow Proclamation, which is, the police, the Jadoon, who we'd met a year before. And they didn't have to... They could have created a new police race or whatever, but they used the Jadoon because that's who they were, that. And then Moffat kind of... he just kind of ignored it, and he made his own universe. He had the Victorian Paternoster gang with Strax and Lady of Astra and stuff, and he had Dorian, that blue guy, selling people stuff, and he had the church. So he kind of, and I mean, maybe it's a showrunner desire to make your own mark on the show, but
I'm reminded, I think, of Dinosaurs on the Spaceship, where we have, like, is it an Indian or Pakistani space force? it's kind of like, that was a Chibnall episode, but it was kind of like there was an expansion beyond, like, it wasn't just a one unified Earth, Space Force. It was like there was different countries had their own, and it was kind of like each one had its own flavour. But you're right, it did sort of lose that consistency where it was kind of like something new's come along and it's like, who knows how this fits in within the rest of it.
And it's not a huge issue, but it is a shame that the universe kind of lost that. And Chibnall also, he wanted to make everything new. I don't mind that, write original, interesting stories, but
to have some consistency when going forward.
Yeah.
And the first two Chibnall seasons were very flat and dull because there was no focus on character.
It felt so divorced from what had come before.
Yes. Ross T. Davies made the show a drama. He made it about character, which is something the show was not in its original run. Television's different now.
Yeah.
It is very different.
It does feel like it's a little more connected now, not just because of the returning monsters, but I guess just sort of the way the Doctor acts, she just feels a bit more like the Doctor this time around. She just feels a bit more like...
There's something there.
Yeah. Not exactly the Doctor. Like, there's some bits where it's like, oh, this is like they're making witty jabs at each other. Like, I can't help but feel this is partially my fault. And Yaz is like, this is all your fault.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. And it's like where Dan goes and shouts at the dog person, Carvanista, and Yaz is like, we're supposed to be, creeping up. It's kind of like there's little quirky, quippy things,
Yeah, then there's also moments where they go a bit too far with it. Like, there's that bit where they get out onto Carbonista's ship, the Doctor and Yaz, to go and save Dan, and the Doctor's like, right, synchronized watches, never mind, I don't have a watch, go on you, blah, 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 I'm going to go, blah, 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 do you get, yeah, good, awesome, and leave, and then it kind of has a close-up on Yaz, and she's looking, confused, and I started to laugh, and then she started talking, and she explained how she was feeling, and Yaz goes, do you get that, Yaz? Yes, Doctor, thank you, I get that. All right, and I was like, just trust your actors, man.
Yeah.
Just let them act.
Yeah. I think the writing's pretty decent, but we sort of talked about the pacing issues already. It sort of feels like it was down to editing and direction and delivery. But yeah, it's solid so far.
I am liking how the new monsters are looking. Like, the loopy people.
The Lupari.
The Lupari.
The loopy people.
Hey, he's still loopy. They look like something that could fit into Classic Who or even the older series of Modern Who. And Swarm. Oh, we've already talked about how he looks like.
They look amazing.
Deadly Assassin.
Remember the dog person from Orphan 55 or something?
Yeah, I can't remember her name.
Yeah,
what person?
No, Orphan 55. The Benny. Remember that episode?
Oh, right.
The one where the Doctor turns to the camera and says climate change bad.
Yes, that one. Okay, yeah.
And they wasted Lydia from Breaking Bad. Yeah, that was like a weird creature, and we didn't know what the deal with that was. Like, is she a furry? Is she meant to look like that? Is she an alien?
I don't necessarily mind that because, I guess it's part of the diversity thing that the show is currently doing, which I love. Like Dan's not girlfriend, the guy, the girl that he was talking about going on a date with. She had one arm. And it just was like that. Not that I'm comparing people with one arm to fake dog people, but just the idea that people are all different shapes and sizes, and just accept it.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's really good to see that.
Attention to it either.
Yeah.
I think, it was a little clumsy last season where Time Lord society's just been so white and male dominated for 50 years, and then suddenly it's like, here's an East Asian,
Yeah.
Time Lord, and it's kind of like, yeah, sure, but where have they been for the last, 50 years of Doctor Who history? Was there a weird, class thing within Time Lord society where they weren't allowed to?
That's one thing that I don't mind ignoring and just changing.
Yeah.
People
don't
being
overthink it, yeah.
People being like, oh, the Doctor's been a white man for 50 years and now suddenly it's a woman. It's television's different now. The world is different now. Just accept it and move on.
There's always, and there has been previous Time Ladies in the classic series.
Yeah, but they've all been white. up until New Who.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is one of those things where it's okay, we won't erase the classic series. There it is. Love it, watch it. But the new show is going to include more people and not make a big deal out of it.
Yeah. Also, the gun used by the soldier from the Division is the same one that was used by that time lady Gat in the Judoon episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a cool design.
And I thought the Division was a Gallifreyan thing, but...
It could be. I mean, their armour looks very...
It does, but Carvanista's not Gallifreyan. And he's a member of the Division.
Yeah. About him as well, like I said, it could have looked silly, but I think once they got like the voice for that character and also the facial movements, it really brought it to life and just made him look...
Mishmash armour of knight meets samurai shoulder pads.
I did feel for the actor underneath because that mask was not expressive.
Yeah, they kind of did a few things, like when he's talking to Dan on the ship and he's kind of like more wide-eyed and it's sort of like he frowns a bit, but it wasn't all there.
All he could act with were his eyes and his mouth.
I mean...
His jaw.
Looking at the dogs he's based upon, I guess he's kind of...
Yeah,
they are just a bunch of fluff, you know.
Yeah, and I think he looks great in stills. It's just a shame because I'm sure that actor is... I don't know who it is, but I'm sure that actor is working overtime underneath and you can't see it.
The voice does a lot for him as well.
I love the voice. It's crazy as well, like, there's so many English acts, but for so long, all you hear is received pronunciation and Essex accents, even in Doctor Who. You know.
Yeah, like people made a big deal about Jenna Coleman's like Blackpool accent, but it's still quite posh sounding, you know. She's still quite, you know.
Yeah.
And now it's like, you know, Yorkshire accents and Northern accents everywhere.
What's wrong with the North?
Lots of planets have a North.
Yeah, but what's wrong with the North?
No, nothing's wrong with it.
My family's from the North.
That's great.
Eccleston was
I know, but that's just more
breaking down barriers.
What are you trying to say?
No, well, I love it. I love the accent, to be honest, and we need more of it.
It is one thing that I really love about the new show. It does just have lots of different people in it.
Do you think they're going to make a Lots of Planets Have a North joke with Carvanista?
I hope they do.
Does he have a northern accent?
It's kind of, I guess, more Midlands, you know.
I'm not super...
Lots of planets have a Midlands.
I'm not... Please, like, animals know when to shut up. That's kind of how he sounds. I'm not expert on English accents.
Yeah, he's kind of more... Yeah, it's not quite Ross Noble, but he's up there. Yeah. But anyway, final thoughts on this episode of Doctor Who Flux.
It's all going to depend on the next 5 weeks, but it's got my attention.
Watch this space.
I'm Royce.
I'm Joshua.
I'm Matt.
This has been the Geeks Review, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.